Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review comes from the Philippines, from 1982, and it's Lino Brocka's Cain and Abel. This is another Kani release. This is by number 2 in the Kani collection. This is another Vinegar Syndrome sister label. I recently did a video on Sellout from Malaysia, which was absolutely wonderful, and this is another fantastic Lino Brocka film with lovely artwork, and it's just a wonderful release from Kani, who have quickly become another favourite Vinegar Syndrome label, which probably isn't a good thing for my wallet, along with Deaf Crocodile and CIP, or Canadian International Pictures. So this is my third Lino Brocka film. I have this BFI set, which is 2 films by Lino Brocka, which is Manila in the Claws of Light, which is just absolutely magnificent, and In Siang, which is very good. So for me, that's 3 Lino Brocka films, and 2 of them are 5-star films for me, and the other one's a 4. I mean, Manila in the Claws of Light is just a straight up masterpiece, and Cain and Abel isn't that far off, even though it's really Lawrence and Ellis, because that's the name of the 2 brothers. Strange enough, this is a Filipino version of Cain and Abel from the Bible, not surprisingly, spoiler alert. This is about 2 brothers who are kind of ruled by their mother, the matriarch of this family, who own land and farming land. So this also works as a kind of class film between the workers, who one of the brothers, Lawrence, is on the side of, and Ellis is the spoiled child, the favourite of the mother. She has been widowed, so she is now in charge, and she rules the roost with an iron fist. The film opens with a close-up of 2 spiders in a death match, essentially, which kind of nicely leans us into what's going to happen in the rest of the film. This stars Philip Salvador and Christopher De Leon, 2 of the more famous Filipino actors. It also stars Carmi Martin, who was actually in Dolphy's Angels, the Filipino knockoff of Charlie's Angels, in 1980. Lino Brocka is another one of these filmmakers that died too young in 1991 in a car accident. He's of what I've seen so far, which is only 3 of his films, he's a wonderful storyteller. So the film kind of is 3/4 of it is a sort of family melodrama, and then the last quarter just explodes into something a little bit different, as you can probably tell by the cover that I held up. So the great thing about this film is that there's really no clear Cain and Abel, because both brothers are flawed, both brothers have their problems, and it's kind of up to the audience to sort of decide who's Cain and who's Abel, or are they both just Cain and not very able. So Lawrence is the one that has stayed on the farm, working the land. He has his kind of friends amongst the workers. He wants to kind of get his mother to buy more tractors so they don't have to do it as much of the work manually, because all the other farms use tractors, but she is kind of against this and thinks he's just wasting her money. He has 2 children, who also kind of stay in the big house, and his wife is pregnant with a 3rd child, and he likes to get drunk, and he's not the greatest worker in the world, but he's stayed. Now Ellis, who is the special one, is the favourite of the mother. He stays in the big city, but he's coming back to visit. He doesn't visit very often, so he comes back to visit. The mother is constantly on the edge of dying and being sick, so Ellis comes back, but he has his own issues. He brings back a girlfriend, but he has the habit of impregnating women. So he has a kid with the housekeeper that the mother has kept on around the house because she's the only one she gets on with. Plus, at the time she was pregnant, the mother thought she was dying, so she was desperate to see a grandchild. But Ellis in the past has impregnated 2 other women that the mother paid to have abortions in the past. So Ellis is hardly a Boy Scout. He's hardly a shining example of what a man should be either. But he's kind of smarter than Lawrence, well, in some ways, as far as education would go. So you have this kind of melting pot. Again, the mother is claiming she doesn't have too long to live, so she's going to alter her will, and she's going to pretty much give the farm and make Ellis in charge of the farm, not Lawrence, the one who's actually has been there for her, doing all the work and making all the money for her. She's going to give it to Ellis. Ellis wants to marry his girlfriend, who's played by Carmy Martin, but the mother's not too keen in that. The 2 brothers have a falling out. It ends up that Lawrence and his family get kicked out, so they have to go and stay with the workers, in obviously worse conditions than what they're used to in the big house. Lauren's girlfriend or wife, I'm not quite sure, who's pregnant, she goes to the house by herself and has a huge confrontation and a huge fight with the mother, and that kind of kicks the last quarter, the last third of the film off, and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. It's beautifully shot, it's really well acted. Brocka really knows how to use space as the big house gets emptier and emptier. Characters are smaller and smaller within that space. It gets to the point that, you know, it's beyond the point of reconciliation. Brutal things happen. This film is very bleak, which is probably why I love it. And it goes to show that no matter where you are in the world, people do tend to do terrible things to each other over things that at the end of the day aren't that important, but it just seems that important, and it's easy for things to escalate. One of the brothers gets in kind of friends or allies, but they're not very nice either. In this, we're constantly, because Brocka takes time to set up these characters and we get to know these characters for pretty much the first half of the film or 2/3 of the film. Then when it does kick off, who we're kind of rooting for kind of flips and changes throughout the whole rest of the film, because again, there is no good guy and bad guy in this. Even the women, to some extent, some of the female characters are almost like Lady Macbeth in this film. They kind of instigate things and kind of accelerate the insanity, if you like. It's just so good. Again, it's almost as good as Manila and the Claws of Light, not quite, but it's right up there. Again, it's another wonderful release. This is a multi-region, so it's an A, B and C. I can't actually remember whether Sellout was an A, B and C, but it might have been, which is fantastic if Kani actually do multi-region discs. There's a lovely booklet. There's some pictures of the cast members. So there is a notice that comes up at the start, very much like Saijit Ray films. A lot of Lino Brocka films we don't have just because the prints are so bad. So they have restored Cain and Abel as much as they could, but there is, especially earlier in the film, there's quite a bit of blurring and kind of as if the focus isn't brilliant, but it's actually just the restoration in the film stock. They're trying to get it as good as they possibly can. But as I said, it's generally in the first kind of 20 minutes of the film, and after a while it kind of disappears and you don't really notice it. So it's not really jarring or anything, but you can see that it's not a perfect print, but considering what they had to work with, it's fantastic that we actually have it. So it is a 2K restoration. There's a 12-minute appreciation by Jose B. Capino from 2022. There's an interview with Carmi Martin from 2022, which is 13 minutes. There's an interview with Christopher De Leon, who plays Ellis, which is 16 minutes from 2022. And then there's the booklet, and as I say, it's multi-region, it's an A, B and C. It's an absolutely terrific film. Again, the more Lino Brocka that we can get, the better. He wanted to kind of make a kind of art house film, a family drama, but also with a bit of action, but kind of make it a little bit less commercial or trashy as some of the action films at the time that was coming out of the Philippines. So there are nods to Hollywood films. I mean, one character literally asks Ellis at one point, "Have you seen Straw Dogs?" Which will give you a hint of what's going on at the film at that time. Again, it's brutal. There's no kind of easy resolution, because again, once people get beyond a point, they can't go back, and once certain things have happened. So this is definitely a film. It's obviously about two brothers, but it's also about the effect of parents on their children, because Lawrence sees in the behaviour of his own two sons kind of echoes of what's going on with his own brother, and obviously the mother, the matriarch, who has kind of created this situation to some extent, she's reacting to the death of her husband, and she's got to be stronger. The two partners of the two brothers are fantastic as well, but as I say, they're got some responsibility in the whole fiasco as well. It's just a tremendous film, another wonderful release by Kani. I would highly recommend it. And again, this is a perfect, this and Sellout, which I did a video on literally a few days ago, is a perfect example of why I love blind buys. Because yes, some of them are okay, but then every now and again you do get these films that just blow you away, that are just fantastic. And again, especially if you can find a label that you sort of know what kind of films you're going to get, like Deaf Crocodile, like CIP, and certainly with the first two Kani releases I've watched. I've still got one more to watch, but I probably will pick up more, which again is bad for my wallet. But this is another stunningly good film. And again, it's another reason why you should watch films from all around the world, and not limit yourself to one sort of film or one language that's spoken in films. So that's Cain and Abel, another fantastic film by Lino Brocka. So please let me know if you've seen Cain and Abel, and which one you prefer, Cain or Abel, or Lawrence or Ellis. And hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.